friend, welcome to the Prachitan Anubhuti, and in this series take you all in my journey from being diabetic to non-diabetic and getting off the diabetic medicine and be as normal as any other human can be as far as the blood glucose are concerned. So I am not a doctor, I am not a registered practitioner, I am just any other common man, but I have learnt a lot in my journey and I wanted to share with you all. So if somebody is looking for some answers, it definitely can help. And I had an opportunity to work with few of the best doctors who helped me in my cause, and we worked together as a team and I achieved the result. So I urge you to have a doctor consultation before trying out any of the things I'm going to say. So let us start. This is episode 1 and this is all about the start. So how I end up in the situation which I was in, and what led me to discover that I had a problem and stuff like that. It's just like the prequel of all the events, all the learnings. So this was year 2015 and this is the height of my career in terms of stress, in terms of workload, in terms of problems. So I am an IT engineer and this was 9th year in my career. Out of 9 years, almost I have spent 6 years in a very high stressful environment, working 10 to 12 hours, 14 hours on average per day. Certain phases where I won't be able to get home before midnight, and sometimes I'll never have the weekend off to myself. It's service-based industry, lot of competition, and we have to achieve the deadlines given to us, and we never had a say in it. It used to be a nightmare of work culture, but yeah, that's part of my life. That's the way I spent my first half of my career. So whenever I'm not working, I am going to watch TV to get rid of the stress came out of the work. So at least I would be needing an hour or 2 of television before I could hit bed for sleeping. So juggling between very stressful and my way of dealing stress was watching television, and food was something I used to do in parallel. Whether I'm working, whether I'm watching TV, munching something on the side, and it's more like I can say it was stress eating than eating, because oh boy, I never used to know like where the stop button is. Just gulping thousands and thousands and thousands of amount of calories, and that used to relieve few of the stress I used to get from work. And whenever I'm not working, I'm not eating, or I'm not watching TV, I used to nap, and my nap patterns were, what to say, not in any designated time to sleep, wake up. It was very erratic, and even if I come back from work in the midnight, I used to watch TV for a couple of hours before I could go to bed. And my wife can vouch for this. Like sometime I used to wake up from my sleep and I used to demand her food from hers, and she used to go to kitchen and prepare something for me so that I eat again and hit the bed. So this was my cycle: work, TV, eat, sleep, sleep, eat, sleep, TV, work, TV, eat, sleep. So yeah, typically around 9:30 wake up, go to office 10:30, lunch 2, evening snacks at 5. Then I used to work with guys back home in India, and it used to start from 9, sometime midnight, sometime 12 o'clock, sometime 2 o'clock, sometime 3 o'clock, and sometime I used to see the sunrise. So that was pretty common, and I was very lucky if I could finish all the work before 11 p.m. But again, I'll go back and watch TV. And this this was pretty common, 5 days a week. And if I have a release coming up, God help me. So my typical meal, you see there, that's the amount of rice, or sometimes it's more than that. Replace those chutneys or vegetable curries with deep fried Indian non-veg delicacies like chicken 65, tandoori chicken. My wife is a wonderful cook, and she used to love to cook, and I used to love to eat. And that used to be a very good plan. It was going hand to hand. Then, oh boy, I used to love fast food with soda. I never able to get a gratification by eating just one meal, so it used to be combination of multiple meals like deep fried chicken, burger, french fries, the ketchup, the soda, gulping down in the movie theater, like those big bottle of soda that you get, and popcorn. So there was nothing stopping me, and I was just eating, drinking, and that was the pattern I had. And to add to all this, the icing on the cake, they say, right? Indian sweets. Oh boy, I used to love them. Whenever we used to go to any get together, so there will be definitely the Indian buffet setup, lot of carbs, thousands of calories, lot of soda, and on top of that, sweets. I used to eat one, I used to like them, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Of course, they are free, they are tasty, and my body used to be the dumpster to dump as many as this calorie bombs in me. So this is what my lifestyle was up to the point where hell break loose. This is my sweet wife.
Go get yourself checked with your doctor.
And this is my typical answer used to be like, I am too busy with work. I don't have time now. This was like 2015 January. And 2015 April.
I am repeating again, please go.
And me like, well, there is this deadline, so we'll do it later sometime. You know how this project works. I have to impress so many people to get me a good ranking. I cannot do it. Now my wife changed her gears.
Okay, now at least go and have an appointment with your doctor. At least, or else I'm not gonna give you food. After that, your wish, you will whether you will go or not.
I guess I didn't have any choice, so finally I booked for the annual exams. It's a funny, like I didn't get any slots during November. Of course, I got them in January 4th of 2016. And I gave blood, and so far we had few very stressful events in personal life. Work was crazy hectic, and binge watching was on its peak. Lot of series in Netflix, one after another. Lot of get together. It's just the holiday season in US, so lot of friends getting together. Lot of food, thousands of calories in each meal. And so far, if you have observed in my activities, I haven't mentioned a single word about being active or going to gym or doing any kind of physical activity whatsoever. And my annual results came. So it has got two part, physical and the blood work result. So physical was out of whack. My weight was 220 pounds. Those who don't understand what that number means in kilograms, that is 100 kg. I congratulated myself for upgrading my scale. Now I can join the club where weight is measured in quintals. So 100 kg is 1 quintal. So that is an industrial scale of measurement. I joined that club. Waist was 44 inches. Those who don't know the significance of that number, a male whose waist is above 40 inches, you are into trouble, deep trouble. Blood pressure was 140 over 110. That means it's not normal. Rather, I was in hypertension category, and that was not at all good. And BMI was 31, which is obese. It's not overweight, it is obese. So I was going out of all scales there. But my biggest disappointment or surprise came when I saw the blood work results. My total cholesterol was 220. The limit is 200 there. 220 means you need to gulp Lipitor, which is a famous medicine for cholesterol. I should have been taking with each and every greasy, oily, spicy, deep fried food I used to take till date. But the biggest disappointment came with the other two numbers there. Those who don't know about fasting blood sugar or A1C hemoglobin, let me tell you one thing. Fasting blood sugar is like one-time measurement, like what amount of percent of sugar is there in your blood plasma, is like how much sugar is flowing through your entire body. A1C hemoglobin is the average of last 3 months, how much sugar particle accumulated on your RBC. These are medical terms. You can look them up in Google. You can find them many YouTube videos with a very good knowledge what this number mean, what its significance. And in US, it's never ever good that your doctor calls after your blood work. Generally, they don't. If everything is all right, they will send you the results. But this time my doctor called and he said, like, I am taking this liberty to prescribe you medicine, diabetic medicine, and you have to take them twice a day. I felt devastated. I never saw this coming. I never in my wildest dream had any idea that I am heading into this trouble, because I didn't know the science. Okay, so finally my worst nightmare came true. Little bit about my family history. Like, so many diabetic patients are there in my family. It runs in the families. Say, what's your family tradition? I will say diabetes. My mom is having diabetes. My father-in-law is having diabetes. My maternal grandmother died because of diabetic complexities. My aunts, my uncles, like entire family, everybody is having this disease. Kind of now a new normal, you would say. I was broken, totally dejected. It was very difficult for me to come to term, like, I have this disease and that's it. So why I was very dejected? Because all these things, the complexity of diabetes, right? Your brain stroke, heart attack, or your diabetic retinopathy, which is like it can make you blind, like glaucoma or cataract, or diabetic foot, or your kidneys will get failed. These are not stories, okay? Anybody else would say you this, like this might happen. I have seen people suffering through this, and it's ugly. It's really ugly, because this is something, it's not a theory that this might happen. This will happen if you don't take care. This will happen. And I have seen people suffering through all these things. each one of them I can go and give example who had it and how they ended up in their old age and how difficult their life was. My maternal grandmother, she lost her vision and she had a wound. It never got cured. That led to ulcer. Eventually that killed her. All thanks to diabetes. Of course I had to deal with this. This has happened and I don't have any alternative. I have to deal with this. Like any shock that happens in your life, it was like first I was in denial. This can never happen to me. Then I was angry why it happened with me. Then went to depression. So as part of anger and denial, I tried to prove those numbers were wrong. Okay. And I went in researching all sorts of websites. Being an IT engineer, you know, right? We try to find out numbers. And I went and searched at least thousands of websites, thousands of research papers, thousands of articles, okay, to find out what is the range. So my fasting was 180. So that was in like way deep into diabetic territory. And normal fasting level should be between 0 to 100. A healthy person should be 80 to 90. If your fasting blood sugar is going 90 plus, watch out. You are heading there. And 2 hours after food, the normal person's blood sugar should be 100 to 140. But typically, that should remain around 120, even better around 110. And A1C hemoglobin number should be less than 5.7. If it is 5.7, you are glucose intolerant. Ideally, it should be 5.2 to 5.4. And once you are pre-diabetic stage, the next stage before you are full-fledged diabetic, the fasting blood sugar should remain between 100 to 126, and 2 hours after food, it should be 140 to 199. A1C hemoglobin should be between 5.7 to 6.4, and fasting blood sugar, if goes beyond 126, welcome to the club. And A1C hemoglobin is better than 6.4, you are diabetic. Then my A1C hemoglobin was 9.8 and fasting was 180. Can you imagine what situation I was in? 2011, I had a blood test drawn and my blood sugar found was 110. I just ignored it because for some reason I thought 120 is normal and nobody told me about the limits. I went to another clinic, did my blood test, it came to 86. Thousands of factors could have helped to have that number to be 86 on that particular morning, and I was happy. Who gives a shit about 110? Then 2013, after food, this was done in Phoenix, Arizona, my blood sugar was 180. Then I told doctor that I had a heavy meal, so that might be this resulting in this spike. If you are a healthy person, whatever may you eat, your blood sugar after 2 hours will come within 140. Okay? No way getting around this. Obviously, I missed all these signs. I used to be like lethargic, no energy, always tired, having brain fog. Brain fog is like you cannot concentrate, then you will be thinking something which might not be right. Your thought process will be complicated, it's not as fast as it used to be. Frequent urination and always thirsty, they go hand in hand. So you drink more fluid, still you feel thirsty, you go urination, and this is a vicious cycle. Okay. Then those who are having into a relationship, if you have any erectile dysfunction, that can be a byproduct of elevated sugar. Don't ignore them. Always hungry. Even I used to wake up my wife in the middle of a night to eat. Make me something. I am hungry. I cannot sleep. Blurry vision. I remember I used to watch TV, but the subtitle used to be blurry. I used to think that my power has changed, so that is why that might be happening. I willingly ignored all this sign, and this is not going to happen overnight. Over a period of 10-12 years, this slow progression. Diabetes never happens over the night. It's that slow, creepy beast that slowly infects you. It takes years to destroy your inner workings of it, your capability to break glucose and get into your cells. If you are having any such symptom, don't ignore like me. Don't end up in such a bad state that you cannot correct it and recover. So, I request you, first step towards this problem is go and get an annual checkup, no matter how healthy you feel. Please go and do that checkup. Don't neglect it.
Please go and get your checkup done.
Don't ignore it. Wives are always right. Remember that.
Yeah, that's true.